Hey guys, so today I wanted to just talk about something that a lot of people struggle with and I get questions about, and a lot of times, I have to explain this to clients. Basically, I want to talk about how to use the scale, explaining weight fluctuations, why we use it, and how to properly incorporate it in your fitness routine for properly tracking success and having a good relationship with it. So first off, I want to say why we use the scale. The scale is not the end all be all. It is basically one tool that we can use to measure progress. There are other ways to measure progress, such as the mirror, which is probably the most important one. Skin fold measurements, girth measurements, so like waist measurements, arms, chest, stuff like that. Exercise performance, how you're feeling in everyday life, etc. But the scale is a very good tool because it gives us a good direction slash gauge or sense of where our body composition is heading. So if we are maintaining weight, we are likely maintaining the same body composition, but you're not adding tissue, you're not losing any tissue. If we are, losing scale weight, we are probably losing body tissue and hopefully making the most of that fat. And then if we are gaining scale weight, we are probably adding body tissue in the goal of gaining muscle mass. So that's why we use the scale, and basically, the whole reason why I like having people self-monitor that, on a regular basis. So I want to talk about why the scale will fluctuate up and down, because no human being does hold a stable body weight where they have the same body weight on the scale every single day, and there's due to a multiplicity of variables. First one I want to talk about is salt. Salt is a mineral that holds water. The more salt that you intake, the more water you will hold, which will mean that the scale will go up. Alternatively, if you have less sodium than normal, and again, this is all relative to the individual. Your sodium intake is relative to you. So if you have more sodium than usual, you'll weigh way more. And if you eat less salt, less sodium than usual, you will weigh less. Usually less water retention. And going along with that, if you have more carbohydrates store as glycogen in the muscle and in the liver. And so glycogen holds on to water. So if you have more carbohydrates than usual, so you have 400 grams instead of 200 grams, you double your carbohydrate intake, your scale weight is going to bump up, but that's mainly just water. And then let's say you had a later meal, or and then you weighed in at the same time. You will have a higher weigh-in just because you have less time for that food to go through your GI tract and be excreted. Later on, what goes out, has to go. What goes in has to go out in one way or another. Similarly, if you have an earlier weigh-in, you eat at the same time, but you have to wake up a little bit earlier because you had something random to life happened. You had an earlier appointment. You weigh yourself earlier. Scale weight's going to be up because there's less time for the food to go through you. You probably haven't peed as much, so you're going to weigh more. Additionally, going along with that, if you need to poop, you can't poop for whatever reason, you're a little bit constipated, a little bit bloated, you will have a higher weigh-in just because you have more of that stuff in you. More, again, anyway, I'm not going to get into that. You guys can kind of tell. Additionally, if you have weight trained has something that weight training increases your insulin sensitivity, and something that happens as a result of having more insulin sensitivity is insulin drives an enzyme called GLUT4, which basically helps facilitate the uptake of nutrients into cells. So if we weight train, we'll be able to have more increased uptake of nutrients into our cells. And in particular, people notice a spike up in their weight after training like a big muscle groups like back or legs. And that's just because you're having these bigger muscle groups uptake more food, more carbohydrates, more water, etc., to help with repair and to help with recovery of the muscles. So weight training, if you had a really hard workout, you will have a probably heavier weigh-in. Alternatively, if you have like a rest day, you will lower your stress levels, and then your cortisol, and you will also have a less uptake of nutrients into the cells, and you could weigh less as a result of that after a rest day. And then the last one I want to talk about is stress. So if you have cortisol, which is the main stress hormone, released from the adrenal cortex, you will have more water retention, and then have a higher weigh-in. Alternatively, if you are way less stressed than usual, you might have a lower weigh-in. So that's out of the way. That's all the reasons why this scale goes up and down. In as simple a way as I can basically articulate. And then, so I want to just give you guys a practical takeaway. So knowing all that, how do I use the scale? How do I use it to track my progress and have a good relationship with it? So first off, I'd recommend having a mindset that the scale is just data, okay? Realize that the scale weight will go up and down every single day, and that's fine. It does not determine the type of person that you are. It just means that you're human, okay? So try not to stress out over daily weight fluctuations. What I recommend doing is weigh yourself, preferably every single morning, or at least 4 days of the 7 days over a 7-day time period, and then take an average of all those data points. So let's say you got 4 weigh-ins, you would add up all 4 of those numbers and then divide it by 4. Or if you had 7 weigh-ins over a week, you would add up all 7 of those weigh-ins and divide by 7. And what that's going to do is give you a weekly average. And so averages, the whole purpose of them is they take out outliers and they kind of make, again, an average a better idea of what's actually happening. So take a look at the weekly averages over a long term. The trends are what matter a lot more than individual data points. That's going to give us a way better idea of what's actually happening, because we can't get shredded in a day, we can't get jacked in a day, can't get shredded in a week, can't get jacked in a week. So again, over time, this fitness game is a long-term thing. So that's basically what I wanted to say today in regards to the scale. Use it as a tool. It's not the end-all be-all. Look at it as just data. Realize the scale will fluctuate based on a multiplicity of factors, and then take an average over a long period of time. Pay attention to the trends over individual data points, and you're going to be good. So thank you guys for watching the video. If you guys liked it, make sure to drop it a like. Subscribe if you haven't. Follow me on Instagram. I post a lot on there. And if you guys want coaching, personal programs, link to aqcoaching.com is in the description box down below as well. So anyways, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.